Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Divorce the First 6 Months. I'm your host, Peter Maestri. Today we have on the show Luis Moro. Luis Moro is a father of two beautiful girls and has been divorced for quite some time. He's also an author, a filmmaker, and an entrepreneur. Luis, thank you so much for being a guest to this conversation and coming on the show, man.
Oh, my pleasure, dude. It's like you complete me.
So, without further ado, my friend, I want you to tell us a little bit about what your first 6 months in your divorce looked like.
When my ex came to me and said, "I want a divorce," without all the other circumstances that led to it, which is, "I want to get a divorce," my response was, "Wow, that really sucks," and I love her, still love her, and I'm not going to ever have someone or debate or fight someone to be with me. If you don't want to be with me, I got it. It sucks. Let's make it work. Let's make this up. Let's go forward.
Yeah.
So the first 6 months for me were an incredible reinvention tour, space tour, space like giving her space, and holding the space for the marriage and the relationship as parents to continue. So I didn't take the first 6 months and say, "See you later." I took the first 6 months and said, "You got to go discover yourself in a way that see if you still want to be with me or not." And mind you, she was having an affair, living with another guy, took off, it was like depleted everything. I mean, I could go down the list of the hurdles I had to deal with, but I gave her that space as a human being the first 6 months.
What does it take
Now,
to do that? Like, what did you have to channel or draw from in order to really distinguish that?
okay, the 25 years of training and development that I had. So I look back at 25 years of training and development and what people go through and have gone through, and I've coached and consulted and all kinds of things and friendships with.
Yeah.
I was very, very clear at the end of the day that it's like that coin in the book, How to Thrive Through Divorce. I never get left. She did what she did, is doing what she's doing, and I'm gonna react and do what I do. It's not like she did it to me. She did what she did, and there's a lot of people getting divorced all over the world,
Yeah.
and it's always personal, and that's why I love your interviews, because you bring it personal, but you're making a difference for all these people all over the world. Um, but all those people all over the world are not experiencing what you personally experience. They're experiencing it in their own way. Like they have the experience. You go, I can relate to that. You can relate to this. But at the end of the day, we each individually create how we're going to go through divorce. And for me, it was one where a couple of things. We had kids, so that's a major factor. I had three step kids. I mean, she had three kids when I met her, so I was raised those kids. They were like, they became like, I mean, they called me dad. I mean, I had a dad too. I made sure they called their dad, but they started calling me their father, like stepfather.
Yeah.
Actually, their father, but stepfather. And then I had two daughters with her, and I just wasn't interested in perpetuating the common this what seems to be the common way when people go to divorce. Go get your spouse and destroy them. Go destroy the mother of your children. Go destroy the father of your children. And then anger and upset and this animosity that sometimes lasts for. I mean, I know some people straight up 25 years later and they're still angry. I mean, angry and hate the person they had children with. I mean, their old partner. So I didn't want to be that. I didn't. It wasn't like I hadn't even think about it. It's like, I'm not gonna waste my life doing that. It's just not worth it. I mean, that's really even more the more truth. I am not going to spend the next 6 months or a year or forget about 20
Yeah.
hating her. It's like, it's hate is so 1960s, literally.
But you have all this transformational work. You've done a lot of work on yourself, like you said, over 25 years. How do you describe what it looks like, what you actually did for somebody that doesn't have that work, that doesn't have that training? How would you recommend to source that, to distinguish it?
Well, distinguish it is probably one of the first things you need to do. You need to just distinguish it, and the it being that your vocabulary is going to keep you in the trap you're in. Always is. So, you start listening to a podcast like the first 6 months. You
Right.
start reading books on fill in the blank. Read I'm a Professional Parent. I'm going to plug my book. But there's so much education out there you could read, and training and seminars and courses and knowledge, YouTube, uh, 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 you know, first layer information, second layer, then deep layer information. To get a coach, I created the Luis Moro board. One of the things I did is I created a board of. I knew right away, okay, I got to call like certain people. I had about 5 people, and these are my go-to people. When I go to my deep, painful, whew, I got to distinguish something here because I am trapped in a conversation that's coming up for me. And quite frankly, all that is happening in the present is like an unwitting reminder of something that's incomplete from the past. So whether we like it or not, it's just like the only reason we're upset at something is because we already had some predetermined, pre-existing condition, like
Yeah.
a pre-existing condition, but it's the condition being an education, a vocabulary, the way we're supposed to be, or should, whatever. There's many ways of saying it. And if you could just catch yourself and distinguish that, you're gonna have power and freedom. So to answer the question in a short way, it's you got to learn. You got to be willing to learn. And learning is just step one. You still got to be coachable. You got to be trainable. If you're not trainable, nothing's going to happen. You have to expand your mindsets. Um, so that's how I did it. I knew right away that, whoa, I'm feeling a lot of pain here, a lot of incompletions. And I just deep dove. I started writing right away, just releasing, 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 and then knowing that whatever it is that I need to get to is something I haven't said yet. And whatever I haven't said yet is like a combination of language. I haven't said it in a way that gives me freedom, and or I just don't even know. So I know enough that I know that I don't know, and I just clueless. But I do know that I could pick up a book and learn. I do know that I could go on YouTube and find different things and those different people and just start listening until I started hearing. Okay, and then I give myself the freedom by distinguishing. So it's a long answer to your question. How do you access it? Is you have to be willing to expand your vocabulary, your language, your ability to think.
What was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome inside of that?
Biggest hurdle? I had to let go. There's a couple, but I mean, there's no one hurdle. So, but if I would say one that blatantly sticks out for me is that there was a time where I was trying. You know how sometimes you hear people, oh, you marry a partner and then you turn them into your mother, or like that, or you turn them into your father like that, or they are like your mother, or you're not, or you do the complete opposite. Like you either are your parent or you are that you're not your parent.
Yeah.
It's like you're in that box, uh, and until you distinguish that box, you really can't even be yourself because you're in the box of I'm like my parents or I'm not like my parents. I like my relatives. I'm not like my relatives. I'm like whoever in first grade, or I'm not like whoever in first grade. Until you have the self-determining education, you're just in that box of language until you could distinguish. Oh, wait a minute! I've been bumping up against these walls. I'm me. What is that going to look like? And you take the good and keep the great and let go of the. That doesn't work. They keep the good fruit, keep the good fruits, keep the good vegetables at the supermarket. You don't take the crap.
Yeah.
So the hurdle, the one hurdle that was a major one was I found myself trying to not have my ex be like my father who wasn't around. Like I had it's like you're supposed to see the kids, you're supposed to do this, how these you're supposed to. And then it was actually a conversation with you, if you remember, because I had you on my board back then. And I called you and I said, okay, Pete, I'm onto something here. I don't know what it is yet. So I just need you to hear me out. Just listen to me and just let me just vomit because I'll hear it. I'll get to it, but I just need to. And it was like 3 or 4 minutes into it, and I then started to cry really deep. I go, dude, I got it. I see what it is. I am trying to have her not be like my father. Now the trick is the mind trick
Yeah.
is we have this education that we think that men try to have women be like their mother, and women have their men to be like their father, or not like their father, or not like their mother. It was tricky because I wasn't trying to have her be like my mother or not like my mother. I was trying to have her not be like my father. So it's irrelevant of the gender. It's the conversation that keeps us glued and trapped like cement, undistinguished. It's very alive in the background, but when you distinguish it, like, oh my God, it was like there all the time. And then once I saw that, I was like, wow. It's like that's crazy. It's not my job to be responsible for her relationship with the kids. And she has a great relationship with the kids. So
Yeah.
she has her own. So it's not my job though. Like how she has a relationship with the kids is up to her. Try, when you're married, it's okay together. But once you're separated, hey man, east west, and that's fine. So that was a major hurdle. I can't call it that was the biggest hurdle because I didn't even know it was a hurdle until after I got on the other side, and I was, oh my god, that was like freed me up in many ways. That was like I started to turn second base, like divorce. You're up to bat. You're gonna get divorced. Oh shit! Boom. You're running to first base. Okay, wow. There's a series of distinctions that got you to first base, right? And then, okay, I got to keep going. I got to steal second. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
There's no way out. You can't steal second. You gotta like wait for something to happen, or you got to create stuff. I got to second. So that was like the one that got me around. I would say second to third base, maybe even third base to home. When I finally let go of, what am I doing, bro? I'm trying. That was definitely second base, second, third. What am I trying to have her be like, or not be like my father? It's insane. It's psychosis. It's almost mentally retarded stuff. Like not retarded, like making fun of somebody, but like mentally, like just the challenged or whatever.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional.
That's a wrap on another episode of Divorce the First 6 Months. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more insights. Take care.